With the release of Team Sonic Racing just around the corner, I've spent a bit of time listening through the soundtrack. After nearly a decade, it's been great hearing Jun Senoue as the sound director to another Sonic game. As much as I love the music Tomoya Otani's provided the series, there's an element of Senoue's music that I missed hearing. An element of playfulness. I hadn't realized this consciously at first, but as I was listening to the music to Wisp Circuit, I noticed an interesting difference between the repetitions of the B section of the song. Senoue was playing a game with the melody. I'll let you listen to the difference for yourself, and then I'll explain what's going on. Do you hear it? They're very similar. It's recognizable as the same melody, but there are little differences throughout. These differences aren't entirely random either. It's a little complicated, but I'll try to break it down. The first instance of the B melody is split into two halves. We can make sense of it if we break it into parts. First, the constants. These are the notes which remain the same as the pattern develops. Removing auxiliary notes, we find this note A sitting here right near the start of both phrases, in the same position, almost like a sort of checkpoint the phrase passes through before continuing. After that is the target note, the finish line of the phrase, if you will. First it's G, and the second time it's A, or at least it ought to be. Let me return to those auxiliary notes. There are two little pairs of notes that occur one after the other in this melody. They're teams in a sense. The first consists of the notes D and C sharp, and the second of B and C sharp. One moves downwards before the first checkpoint, the other moves upwards, culminating on the target note G. It's like a relay race. One team makes their way to the checkpoint and then passes the baton off to the next team to finish the job. But you'll notice something different about the second phrase. C sharp gets a little greedy here and overtakes its target note A to steal the attention. I'd say it's quite proud of itself. This is just one example of what it looks like to play a game with a piece of music. Set up a pattern, set expectations, and then dash them. But we're not finished quite yet. There's still the second instance of this melody to look at. The second time this section occurs, things are a bit different. Our team must have had a little chat and put C sharp in its place, because this time, team B C sharp takes up the back of the line, moving downwards rather than upwards, and with D C sharp going ahead. Furthermore, the rhythm has changed slightly. There's now a pause between the last auxiliary note and its target, the opposite of where it was the first time. C sharp's being a little more careful now. At the end of the phrase, A takes what it was initially denied, its place at the finish line of the melody. Games of this sort can be found throughout Senoue's music, and it's not limited to Team Sonic Racing. Here's a track of his called Nitrous Fury from the rhythm game Mai Mai. Being a rhythm game, he plays little games with the time signatures throughout. Here are two instances of the same section. The first time it shows up, the rhythm of each phrase is 8 beats, 9 beats, and then 8 again. The second time, however, it goes like this: 9 beats, 10 beats, and then 11. Not only is there an additional beat overall, but the last phrase adds a beat instead of subtracting one. As another example, here's a subtle one from Sonic Adventure 2's Mr. Unsmiley for Skyrail. Yes, that's the name of the song, I checked. You might want to wear headphones for this, by the way. The chords at the end of the A section trade off from left to right. The second time, this pattern is reversed. It starts on the right side. From a practical perspective, if you're a composer, little games like this can be an excellent way to make the most out of a small amount of material. Senoue is particularly conservative in this regard. He makes the most of what he has. In my experience, it can also help get creative energy flowing, which in turn helps me come up with new material for the sections that need it. Have you seen things like this in other songs or by other composers? What do you feel it contributes to the music, if anything? Are there instances where you felt this might detract from the experience? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.